So, you've decided to jump into the world of cryptocurrency. Maybe you bought some Bitcoin, dabbled in Ethereum, or picked up a few promising altcoins. You see the headlines, you watch the prices climb, as high as $109,500 for Bitcoin just last month, and you start to dream about what that investment could become. But then, a nagging thought creeps into the back of your mind, a quiet whisper that gets louder every time you read about a hack or a collapse. Is my money actually safe? This isn't just paranoia, it's a legitimate concern that every single person in this space needs to address head-on. The stories are, frankly, terrifying. We all remember the spectacular implosion of FTX in 2022, where billions of dollars in customer funds vanished overnight, leaving people with nothing but an IOU from a bankrupt company. It was a brutal lesson in trust and custody. The numbers don't lie, and they paint a very clear picture of the risks involved. In 2024 alone, a staggering $2.2 billion was stolen through hacks and exploits. That's an enormous amount of wealth being siphoned away from everyday investors just like you. A significant chunk of that, over $1.3 billion, was linked to sophisticated North Korean hacking groups who treat the crypto market like their personal piggy bank. These aren't small-time scammers, they are organized, well-funded operations targeting the weakest links in the system. When you hear about exchanges like Binance or KuCoin getting hit, it proves that even the biggest players in the game are vulnerable. It's easy to think, it won't happen to me, but the reality is that without proper precautions, anyone can become a statistic in this digital Wild West. The fear isn't just about shadowy hackers from across the globe. Sometimes the danger is much closer to home and far more mundane. It can be a simple mistake, a moment of carelessness that costs you everything. Imagine meticulously saving for years, only to lose it all because you clicked on a bad link, downloaded a fake app, or simply misplaced a string of 12 words. Unlike the traditional banking system, there is no forgot password button that can magically restore your funds. There's no customer service hotline to call if you accidentally send your life savings to the wrong address. In the world of crypto, you are your own bank, which is incredibly empowering. But it also means you are your own head of security. The responsibility is entirely on your shoulders. This guide is designed to cut through the noise and the fear. We're going to break down, step by step, what you need to do to protect your digital assets. We'll talk about the real threats, not the overhyped boogeymen, and give you practical, actionable advice that doesn't require a degree in computer science. By the end of this, you won't just understand the risks, you'll have a clear plan to mitigate them. Because owning cryptocurrency shouldn't be a source of constant anxiety. With the right knowledge and the right tools, you can feel confident that your investment is secure, allowing you to focus on the incredible potential this technology holds for the future. Let's get started and turn that fear into empowerment. Let's break this down with a simple comparison that everyone can understand. Securing your crypto is a lot like securing your home. When you own a house, you take certain precautions. You buy a strong lock for your front door, you make sure your windows are latched, and maybe you even install an alarm system. These are all common-sense measures to protect your most valuable physical assets. In the digital world, your cryptocurrency is your asset, and the principles of protecting it are strikingly similar. Your private key, that long string of characters that grants access to your funds, is literally the key to your digital vault. If a thief gets that key, they can walk right in and take everything. Now here's where people often get it wrong. Imagine you spend a fortune on the world's most advanced, unpickable lock for your front door. You feel incredibly secure. But then you leave a spare key under the doormat, write the alarm code on a sticky note by the door, and leave your back door wide open while you're on vacation. All that investment in the fancy lock becomes completely useless because you neglected the basic, fundamental rules of security. This is exactly what happens in the crypto world. People might buy some crypto on a secure, well-known exchange, but then they save their password in their browser, write their seed phrase in a plain text file on their desktop, or fall for an obvious phishing scam. They bought the best lock but left the door wide open. The core of the problem is a misunderstanding of where the real danger lies. In our home security analogy, you're not just protecting against a master lockpicker, you're also protecting against someone who might trick you into letting them in. This is the world of scams and social engineering. A scammer might call you pretending to be from your security company and ask for your alarm code to run a test. In crypto, this is the equivalent of an email that looks like it's from your exchange, asking you to verify your account by entering your login details and password on a fake website. The technology itself might be secure, but the human element is often the weakest link in the chain. So, a comprehensive security strategy isn't just about having one strong tool, it's about building multiple layers of defense. It's about having a strong lock, your secure wallet, not leaving keys lying around, protecting your seed phrase, and being smart about who you open the door to, avoiding scams. You have to think like a potential thief and ask yourself, what are the easiest ways someone could get access to my assets? Is it through my computer, my phone, by tricking me? Understanding this mindset is the first and most critical step. It's not about being paranoid. It's about being prepared and taking a holistic approach to securing your digital wealth, just as you would with your physical home. To properly defend your assets, you first need to know your enemy. The threats in the crypto space are varied, but most losses can be traced back to a handful of common culprits. Let's walk through the top 5 dangers you need to be aware of. First and foremost is centralization risk, which is a fancy way of saying you're leaving your crypto in someone else's hands. When you keep your coins on a centralized exchange like Coinbase or Binance, you don't actually hold them. The exchange holds them for you, and you just have an IOU. As the FTX collapse proved, if that company goes bankrupt or gets hacked, your funds can be frozen, seized, or lost forever. This is the single biggest risk for most new investors. The second major threat is the loss or theft of your private keys and seed phrase. Your seed phrase, typically 12 or 24 words, is the master key to your entire crypto wallet. If you lose it, your crypto is gone forever. There is no recovery process. Conversely, if someone else gets their hands on it, they can drain your wallet from anywhere in the world. People make the critical mistake of storing this phrase in a digital format, a screenshot on their phone, a note in iCloud, or a document in Google Drive. These locations are all connected to the internet and are prime targets for hackers. A simple piece of malware on your device could scan for these files and send them straight to a thief. Third on our list is malware and viruses, the silent assassins of the digital world. One particularly nasty type is the clipboard hijacker. Here's how it works. You copy a long crypto address to send funds to, but before you paste it, the malware secretly replaces the address in your clipboard with the hacker's address. You paste it, hit send without double-checking, and your money is instantly and irreversibly sent to the wrong person. Another common tactic is fake wallet apps. Scammers create malicious applications that look identical to legitimate wallets like Trust Wallet or Exodus, and get them listed on app stores. You download it, enter your seed phrase to import your wallet, and boom, your funds are stolen. Fourth, we have the ever-present danger of scams. The crypto space is rife with promises of guaranteed high returns and can't-miss opportunities. If it sounds too good to be true, it absolutely is. Scams like pig butchering are on the rise, where a scammer builds a relationship with you over time before convincing you to invest in a fraudulent platform. They even use AI now to make their pitches more convincing and personalized. You also need to be wary of phishing attacks, where fake emails, texts, or social media messages try to trick you into giving up your login credentials or private keys. Always be skeptical of unsolicited offers and messages. Finally, there's the simple, gut-wrenching human error of sending coins to the wrong address. Unlike a bank transfer, a crypto transaction is final. There is no central authority to appeal to, no undo button, and no one to call for a refund. If you mistype a single character in a 42-character address, your funds could be sent into a digital black hole, lost forever. This is why it is absolutely critical to double, triple, and even quadruple check every single address before you confirm a transaction. These 5 threats, centralization risk, lost keys, malware, scams, and user error, account for the vast majority of lost crypto. By understanding them, you can start building your defense. There's a saying in the crypto community that gets repeated so often it's become a mantra. Not your keys, not your coins. This simple phrase contains the most important security lesson anyone can learn. When you buy cryptocurrency on a centralized exchange, you are essentially handing over your money to a third party for safekeeping. The exchange creates a wallet for you on its platform, but you don't control the private keys to that wallet. The exchange does. This means you are trusting them completely. You are trusting they have perfect security, that they are financially solvent, and that they will always allow you to withdraw your funds whenever you want. This is a huge amount of trust to place in a single entity. The history of cryptocurrency is littered with the skeletons of exchanges that betrayed this trust. The most famous early example is Mt. Gox, which in 2014 handled over 70% of all Bitcoin transactions before it collapsed after a massive hack, wiping out hundreds of millions of dollars of customer funds. More recently, the fall of FTX in 2022 served as a brutal reminder that even the most popular and seemingly trustworthy platforms can crumble. The CEO was using customer funds for risky trades and personal expenses. When the market turned, the house of cards fell, and millions of users found their accounts frozen. Their money wasn't just gone, it was never truly theirs to begin with. They only ever held an IOU. Leaving your crypto on an exchange is the digital equivalent of storing your life savings in cash in a locker at a public gym. Sure, the gym has some security and most of the time it's probably fine, but it's a high-value target for thieves and you are relying entirely on the gym's management to keep it safe. If an employee is dishonest, if the security system fails, or if the gym goes out of business and locks the doors, your money is gone. This is precisely the risk you take with an exchange. They are massive honeypots for hackers, attracting the most sophisticated cybercriminals in the world who are constantly probing for weaknesses. Does this mean you should never use an exchange? Of course not. Exchanges are essential tools for buying, selling, and trading crypto. They are the on-ramps and off-ramps to the entire ecosystem. The key is to use them for their intended purpose. As a temporary bridge, not a permanent vault. The best practice is to buy your crypto on the exchange and then immediately withdraw it to a wallet where you, and only you, control the private keys. Only keep the amount of money on an exchange that you are actively trading with or plan to sell in the very near future. For anything you consider a long-term investment, the exchange is simply not the place to store it. Remember the mantra, if you don't hold the keys, you don't own the coins. Once you've made the wise decision to move your crypto off an exchange, you need to decide where to put it. This brings us to the world of crypto wallets, which exist on a spectrum of security versus convenience. Think of it like how you manage your everyday cash. You might keep a small amount of cash in your pocket or purse for easy access. This is convenient for buying coffee or lunch. You probably keep a larger amount at home in a safe, which is less convenient but more secure. And your life savings? That's likely in a bank vault, the most secure but least accessible option. Crypto wallets work in a very similar way, and they generally fall into two main categories: hot wallets and cold wallets. Hot wallets, also known as software wallets, are connected to the internet. These are apps on your phone or computer or extensions in your web browser like MetaMask, Exodus, or Trust Wallet. Their main advantage is convenience. Because they are always online, they are perfect for making frequent transactions, interacting with decentralized applications, dApps, and managing small, everyday amounts of crypto. They are the cash in your pocket of the crypto world. However, this constant internet connection is also their biggest weakness. It makes them vulnerable to online threats like malware, hacking, and phishing attacks. You would never walk around with your life savings in your pocket, and you shouldn't store it in a hot wallet either. On the other end of the spectrum, we have cold wallets, which are the Fort Knox of crypto storage. These are physical devices, also known as hardware wallets, that are not connected to the internet. Brands like Ledger, Trezor, and Engrave are the most popular. A hardware wallet stores your private keys completely offline. When you want to make a transaction, you connect the device to your computer, but the transaction is signed internally on the device itself. Your private keys never ever touch the internet-connected computer, making them immune to online hacking attempts. This makes them incredibly secure, but slightly less convenient for quick, on-the-go transactions. Choosing the right wallet isn't about picking one over the other, it's about using the right tool for the right job. Most savvy investors use a combination of both. They keep the vast majority of their holdings, their long-term savings, tucked away safely in a hardware wallet or cold storage. Then they keep a small, manageable amount of spending money in a software wallet or hot storage for daily use. This strategy gives you the best of both worlds, the ironclad security of cold storage for your nest egg, and the convenient access of a hot wallet for your daily activities. It's all about finding that perfect balance between security and convenience that fits your personal needs. If you are serious about protecting your cryptocurrency, especially if you've invested an amount that you would be devastated to lose, then a hardware wallet is not a luxury, it is an absolute necessity. Let's dive deeper into why this little physical device is considered the gold standard for crypto security. As we've discussed, the single most important piece of information you own is your private key. The entire security model of a hardware wallet is built around one simple but powerful concept: isolating that private key from the internet and, by extension, from every online threat that exists. Your computer or phone can be riddled with viruses and malware, but it doesn't matter. Here's how it works in practice. When you set up a hardware wallet like a Ledger or a Trezor, it generates your private keys and your 24-word recovery phrase directly on the device's secure, offline chip. This information is displayed on the device's small screen and is never exposed to your computer. When you want to send crypto, you create the transaction on your computer or phone using an app like Ledger Live. The app sends the transaction details to your hardware wallet for approval. You then physically verify the transaction details, the amount, and the recipient's address on the device's trusted screen, and press a physical button to confirm. The device signs the transaction internally with your private key and sends only the signed transaction back to the computer to be broadcast to the network. Your keys never leave the device. This physical confirmation step is what makes hardware wallets so powerful. It creates what's known as an air gap between your keys and the online world. A hacker could have complete control over your computer, see your screen, and log your keystrokes, but they still couldn't steal your funds because they can't physically press the button on your device to approve the transaction. This defeats threats like clipboard hijacking malware, because you would notice the incorrect address on the wallet's own screen before you approve it. It's a simple, elegant solution that provides a level of security that software wallets, by their very nature, can never match. Of course, the security of a hardware wallet still depends on you. You must protect the physical device itself and, more importantly, you must secure your 24-word recovery phrase. This phrase is your only backup. If your device is lost, stolen, or broken, you can use this phrase to restore your funds on a new hardware wallet. You must write this phrase down on paper or stamp it into metal and store it in a safe, secure, offline location. Never store it digitally. A hardware wallet is your digital fortress, and the recovery phrase is the master key to rebuild it. For any amount of crypto that constitutes a significant part of your net worth, investing $100 in a hardware wallet is the highest return investment you will ever make. In traditional finance, everyone knows you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. You diversify your investments across stocks, bonds, and real estate to reduce risk. This same principle is absolutely crucial in the world of cryptocurrency security. Relying on a single wallet or a single platform, no matter how secure you think it is, creates a single point of failure. A smarter approach is to practice digital diversification, spreading your assets across different types of wallets and even different protocols to insulate yourself from a catastrophic loss. This is a strategy used by advanced users, but the concepts are simple enough for any beginner to implement. The most basic form of this strategy is the one we've already touched upon, using both a hardware wallet and a software wallet. Your hardware wallet acts as your main savings account, holding the bulk of your assets that you don't plan to touch for a long time. Your software wallet acts as your checking account, holding a small amount for active use. This immediately isolates the majority of your funds from the daily risks associated with online activity. If your hot wallet were somehow compromised, the loss would be contained and manageable rather than being a life-altering disaster. It's a simple separation that dramatically improves your overall security posture. You can take this a step further by using what some people call kamikaze wallets. These are typically browser extension hot wallets like MetaMask or Phantom that you create specifically for interacting with new, unaudited, or potentially risky decentralized finance protocols. Maybe you're chasing a new airdrop or want to experiment with a high-yield farm that just launched. Instead of connecting your main software wallet that holds real funds, you connect this disposable kamikaze wallet, which holds nothing but the bare minimum amount of crypto needed for transaction fees. If the protocol turns out to be a scam or has a vulnerability, the attacker can only drain your empty kamikaze wallet while your real funds remain untouched and safe. This concept of diversification also extends to the services you use, particularly in activities like staking. On proof-of-stake networks like Ethereum, many users delegate their coins to large staking providers like Lido to earn rewards. However, this creates centralization risk. Right now, a single provider, Lido, controls over 28% of all staked ETH. If Lido were to suffer a major technical failure or a governance attack, it could have massive repercussions for the entire network and everyone who staked with them. A more resilient strategy is to spread your staked assets across multiple smaller providers. This not only protects your investment but also contributes to the overall health and decentralization of the network itself. By never putting all your trust in one place, you build a more robust and anti-fragile crypto portfolio. Alright, we've covered the theory, the threats, and the tools. Now let's boil it all down into a simple, practical checklist you can follow to keep your crypto safe. Think of this as your personal security protocol. Following these steps consistently will put you ahead of 99% of other crypto users and dramatically reduce your risk of loss. These are not complicated technical maneuvers, they are fundamental habits that, once adopted, will become second nature. The goal here is to make security a routine, not a chore, so you can navigate the crypto world with confidence and peace of mind. First, self-custody is king. The most important step is to move your long-term holdings off centralized exchanges. Buy a reputable hardware wallet, Ledger, Trezor, or something similar, directly from the official manufacturer's website, never from a third-party seller on Amazon or eBay. Immediately transfer the bulk of your crypto to this device. Remember, not your keys, not your coins. Second, guard your seed phrase with your life. Write your 12 or 24-word recovery phrase down on paper or something more durable, like a steel plate. Store it in a secure, offline location like a fireproof safe. Make 2 copies and store them in different safe locations. Never, ever, under any circumstances, store it digitally. Don't take a photo of it, don't type it into a notes app, and don't save it in a password manager or cloud drive. This is your ultimate backup, and it must remain offline. Third, practice transaction hygiene. Every single time you send crypto, double-check the recipient's address. Don't just glance at the first and last few characters. Read the entire address out loud if you have to. Be especially wary of clipboard hijacking malware that can secretly swap the address you copied. If you're sending a large amount, always send a small test transaction first. It might cost you an extra few dollars in fees, but it can save you from losing everything. Fourth, be skeptical of everything. Treat every unsolicited email, text message, and direct message with extreme suspicion. Never click on links asking you to verify your wallet or claim a prize. Download wallet software and apps only from the official company websites or links provided by trusted sources like DeFilama. If an investment opportunity sounds too good to be true, it is a scam. Finally, use a multi-wallet strategy. Don't use a single wallet for everything. Use a hardware wallet for your savings, a primary software wallet for your checking account, and consider a separate, disposable kamikaze wallet for interacting with risky new decentralized apps. This compartmentalization contains any potential damage. By following this 5-point checklist, self-custody, guard your seed phrase, practice transaction hygiene, be skeptical, and use multiple wallets, you are building a formidable defense around your digital assets. It's a simple routine that provides powerful protection against the most common threats in the crypto space. We've covered a lot of ground, from the terrifying stories of hacks and collapses to the practical steps you can take to fortify your digital assets. It can seem overwhelming at first, and it's natural to feel a bit of anxiety. The crypto space is new, it's complex, and the stakes are incredibly high. But the core message I want you to take away from this is one of empowerment, not fear. The very essence of cryptocurrency is about taking back control from the traditional financial institutions and putting power into the hands of the individual. That power, however, comes with responsibility. Being your own bank means you also have to be your own security guard. The good news is that being a good security guard doesn't require you to be a genius hacker or a cybersecurity expert. It simply requires diligence, common sense, and the right habits. The principles we've discussed, using a hardware wallet for savings, protecting your seed phrase as if it were gold, being skeptical of unsolicited offers, and double-checking every transaction, are the bedrock of sound security. These are not high-tech solutions. They are low-tech, behavioral changes that make all the difference. By investing a small amount of time and money into setting up a secure system, you are protecting the future potential of your investments. Think of it this way: the crypto market is volatile, and no one can predict with certainty whether prices will go up or down. That is a risk you accept as an investor. But losing your crypto to a hack, a scam, or a simple mistake is an unforced error. It's a risk that is almost entirely within your control to eliminate. You can't control the market, but you can control your own security. With US crypto ownership now at 55 million people and growing, and with 81% of owners viewing it as a long-term investment, mastering these security fundamentals is more important than ever. You are part of a massive wave of early adopters in a new financial paradigm, so as you move forward on your crypto journey, don't let the fear of loss paralyze you. Instead, let it motivate you to be proactive. Buy that hardware wallet, write down that seed phrase and hide it somewhere safe. Develop the habit of verifying addresses, embrace the responsibility that comes with this revolutionary technology. By taking these deliberate, thoughtful steps, you can navigate the crypto world not with fear, but with confidence. You can rest easy, knowing that you have built a digital fortress around your assets, allowing you to focus on the truly exciting part, participating in what could be one of the most significant technological and financial revolutions of our lifetime. Your financial future is in your hands. Make sure you keep it safe.